this issue that has become prominent in different spots or all over our country. So I just shared that, as a school district, we don't teach or indoctrinate students in critical race theory. We do teach about issues concerning race. And obviously earlier this year, or last school year, maybe I should say, in the fall, we had 2 presentations about how race is addressed throughout our curriculum in social studies and in ELA. There are other, of course, all of that is anchored in the standards, the New Jersey Student Learning Standards, which touch on race in different ways and have different expectations for how school districts address those topics with students throughout the grade levels. There are other requirements in New Jersey too, like the Amistad mandate, which has to do with the requirement that districts teach about slavery and the legacy of slavery, and a new law that was just enacted actually this past spring by the legislature and Governor Murphy about issues concerning equity and unconscious bias as they pertain to topics like disability and religion, race, gender expression, and the like. So those types of topics are sensitive, or can be sensitive. They can be complicated and complex, and they appear at different points in our curriculum. Some of what I just described, occurs in health and physical education as well. So we try to be thoughtful throughout our disciplines about how we guide students through those discussions and develop better understandings in them. I think, right now in the year 2021, it's probably never been more difficult to be a teacher than it is right now. It's a lot harder now than it was when I started 20-something years ago. Between the constant presence of social media that students have all around them, the technology that students have available to them all of the time. Obviously, we've seen strife of all sorts in our country over the past year and a half. We're living in a pandemic. We have mental health, concerns among students. So I just bring all that up to say that it's tough to be a teacher right now, and when there are events that take place outside of the schools, students come into schools with questions, teachers are sometimes put on the spot, and they do the best they can to try to center the discussions on either the text that we're reading or the current events that we're discussing. But certainly, I think it's appropriate for us to want to renew our investment in time and training for teachers so that they can most skillfully navigate these issues and work with students on the standards and the subject matter in a way that's thoughtful, in a way that makes sure all students feel included and safe in the discussions that they're having, regardless of what kind of perspective they might have. And we have to just make sure that we're continuing to try to provide our teachers support and also the ability to evaluate our resources to make sure that they're the ones that are best to achieve the aims that we set out in the instructional program.